Okay, yeah, welcome back. Today I'm going to talk about two things, that is solo driving and team driving. So, solo driving is when you're driving by yourself, like right now, what I'm doing. Team driving is when you have two guys running the same truck. So, one of you is in the back sleeping, the other one is driving. So, I'm going to tell you the pros and cons of, either. And I'll tell you what my own opinion, okay? So, starting to drive in the US, I was doing teams. Then I transitioned into solo, which I'm doing right now. So now I'm going to tell you the pros and cons of everything. So I'm going to start with team driving. Now, if you go into team driving, number one is you're not going to have privacy. You're going to have someone always in the back, even when you're doing your reset. That one day, 24 hours, the person is always in your face. So if you're the kind of person who doesn't want to have someone in your zone all the time, team driving is not yours. Hygiene. If you meet someone who doesn't really fancy going, to the shower and everything, that's also a problem. Hygiene. And then another thing is that when you're doing teams, I felt I was a little bit fatigued because, you have shifts. When you're done driving, the other guy jumps in. So the track is always moving. So you're always going to be fatigued at some point because you work pretty much compared to solo. Okay, because solo, sometimes you can sleep an extra hour or two and then you start rolling, as long as you know how to plan yourself. Then number three is the sleep. You're not really gonna have good sleep. That is if, well, one, the driver, your co-driver is not good enough to maneuver the track so well. He's gonna hit the bumps. Sometimes it's inevitable because the freeways, maybe the ground is uneven. Yeah, he's gonna hit them. He's not gonna brake at every bump he finds. But just know, if you're gonna be going through a section of the road that is, having bumps and all that, you're not gonna sleep. You're gonna sleep, but you always be waking up and all that. So you won't have good night's sleep. Sometimes you won't be well rested. Now, if you meet a partner who is not so good with the business, they're always gonna be waking you up because they need help. I had that kind of issue as well with two of the people I worked with. So those are the factors that I feel like. And then now it comes to the miles and the pay and everything. So about teams, you split the miles into half. So if on my shift I get the load pretty late and I only make 200 miles, and maybe your shift you drive 500 miles. So what happens is that they get your 250 plus 100 from me. That means you've done 350. Same for me. You get it? So they split the miles. That means we're splitting the pay as well. So when it comes to miles and all that, if you're gonna do teams and you're not getting enough miles in a day, it's not worth it, because at the end of the day you're splitting the miles. So you rather do the miles. Example, if I did on my shift 350 miles, I'd rather have them than split them with my co-driver. You get it? If on his shift we were waiting at the shipper and he never drove a couple of miles, you get it? So that goes to the pay as well. You can literally earn what team drivers earn if you're solo. That is, if they don't get enough miles and you get, like, you're always moving as a solo driver, you can literally make the same. Also, that depends on how much you get per mile. If your cents per mile is not even that much and theirs is not that much, you can be even. So at the end of the day, you can be like, okay, why should I have someone, in my zone all the time? And, you get the same amount. That is actually what happened to me. But I'm realizing that now when I'm doing solo, that, hey, I can still make the same money like I did when I was doing teams, because I always had issues with loads and all that. We would sit for many hours before we'd get a load. So the advantage of the teams, well, teams can be really good if you're always moving. If you have loads all the time, you're not sitting for so long, because every time you drop, you get paid. Every time you drop, you get it. You don't have to wait. But if you don't get mile, like, you're not moving all the time, no, it's not good. Now solo driving. Solo driving, that means you have to do all the miles yourself. Okay, there's nothing splitting, there's nothing, no, you don't share miles. You have to do everything on your own. Okay, but then when it comes to solo, you have the space. You organize the fridge. Example, right now, if you have a teammate, we have shelves where we put everything. You have to share them. This is your section, that's my section. Right now, you can just throw everything anywhere. There's a lot of space, so you have a lot of space as a person to keep your stuff. Even like right now, I'm doing a reset. You can move around. There's no one around, but usually when I was doing teams and you're doing a reset, like one is up, one is down, you can't really do a lot. There's no privacy. And now the thing is about solo, you plan your trips easily because you're by yourself. You be like, okay, no, I'm gonna sleep an extra 2 hours or one. Then you start cruising. When it comes to teams, you can. If your shift is over and the other guy is coming in, he's not gonna be like, hey, okay, let's rest for another 2 hours. No. You have to get going. Okay, so you have better planning. There's also consistency now when it comes to the payment, because you rather, because like right now I know how much I put in a week. I know, okay, I can do this much miles a week, so your pay is kind of like consistent. But when it comes to teams, it's not consistent. How? So teams is like this week you can have good loads, you're always moving, it's gonna skyrocket. Next week you're gonna maybe be waiting at the shipper for so many hours, blah blah blah, shit can happen. Then remember, you split the miles, it will drop. Okay, so it's a little bit inconsistent, because if your co-driver doesn't drive on his shift or drives low miles, and maybe you also don't get in the miles, that day is messed up. Let me say you want to do 1,000 miles a day, both of you. If you do like maybe bare minimum 500, that's 500 less, so it's gonna bite into your pockets at the end of the day. So when it comes to solo, okay, I have my loads. Okay, if I run this much, make 3,000 miles or whatever it is you can in a week, you can literally tell how much you're gonna earn. When it comes to teams, no, you can't. So when it comes to pay, that is it. But still, at the end of the day, the thing is, it goes down to how much you're getting per mile. I can have a high payment per mile as a solo driver, and you can have a low payment per mile as a team. I would still get more money than you guys. So all factors on the side, there is consideration for how much you're getting per mile at that moment. Are you doing teams? Are you solo? Okay. But if you're to ask me what I would pick solo, okay, for now, unless I am with someone that I know and I know how good they are at whatever they're doing. But for now, I would pick solo, because I've been doing solo for 2 weeks right now and it feels really good. That's all I can say. Yeah, so that's what I had to share with you today. I'm starting a new week tomorrow, and I will make another video of, I don't know, let me know in the comments what you want me to talk about and everything, okay? And I'll talk about it. Otherwise, don't forget, ride like a big shot. Kaboom.